Quinn argues that the stories that we grow up with shape how we see the world. And while I agree that our environment does have a huge influence on us, I don't think our beliefs are only stories that someone else gives us. I believe our beliefs are our own, but they are definitely shaped by our environment and our personal experiences. Ishmael is a good example of that. He didn't realize how much his environment influenced him until the environment has changed. Once he was taken away from the jungle and placed in captivity, he began to see the world a little different. Our brains don't experience reality exactly as it is. We experience our perception of reality, which is something that I studied in my psychology class. So, like, two people can go through the same exact thing and come away with completely different experiences because of their backgrounds, their emotions, um, and other factors. I think Quinn is trying to make that point. The narrator assumes a teacher has to be human because that's all he's ever known. His assumptions obviously make sense based on his personal experiences that gorillas don't talk, let alone teach you. Um, Ethics is not just choosing right versus wrong, it's about asking deeper questions. So before making a decision, we should understand those different perspectives, recognize our own biases, and make sure that we have enough information to make a fair judgment. To me, being ethical means being willing to step into someone else's shoes instead of assuming our own perspective is the only way. When asked when asked who belongs inside our circle of moral concern, my answer was simple: everything belongs. Humans, animals, plants, trees, and the earth itself all deserve moral consideration because everything is literally connected. Trees give us oxygen, animals help keep the ecosystem balanced, and plants support life. I don't think it's possible to completely step outside of our own perspective because we will always see the world through our own experiences. However, I do think that we have a moral responsibility to recognize that our perspective is just that, our perspective. The narrator walked into the room convinced he already knew what a teacher looked like, convinced the gorilla was surely trapped and being used as an experiment just to have every assumption that he made challenged. Sure, his past can explain why he believed those things, but they clearly didn't prove he was right, standing in front of a talking, teaching gorilla. To me, that's the biggest message so far. Ethics isn't about believing you already have the right answer, it's about being open enough to question your own beliefs, listen to different perspectives, and remember that just because something makes sense to you doesn't mean that it's the only way to see the world.